Hello everyone, today I'm going to be giving a speech on why zoos are unethical. So I just want to start from how we've all been to a zoo before and we all go just to see the many animals, and it is always going to be an exciting visit. And zoos have always been a glamorized trip on seeing these animals. Whether you're going to learn more about your favorite species or wanting to see how these wild creatures act in person, it's always a fun thing to experience. But what if I were to tell you that it isn't all what it seems at first? So zoos may seem legit when you first visit, but when you dig deeper into it, you may be surprised by how unethical they really are. And even though zoos may try the best to provide the best habitats for the animals, they are ultimately not meant to be kept within the captivity that they are in. I always heard the debate of whether society should support zoos or not, and I never understood the extent to the situation of it until I decided to look into it for myself. And since the discovery of its other side, I can stand by the fact that I do support animal sanctuaries, which are 1,000 times more ethical. So the reason as to why this topic matters is because I'm sure we've all gone to a zoo before, and I'm sure we're all animal lovers here. Don't you also believe that animals in captivity deserve the same kind of care and support? I hope that this speech can open your perspective and open your mind to see zoos by how they really are and to change that for you to support sanctuaries instead. So, zoos can try to support wild animals to the best of their ability, but you can't confine an animal that is naturally wild and has instincts. Sanctuaries provide a much more ethical alternative where the animals' needs are being met and they are being provided for in a much better way. Support sanctuaries, not zoos. And the first thing I'd like to bring to your attention is an ongoing mental and emotional disorder that many zoo animals suffer with, which is zoocosis. And the reason as to why this issue is so big is due to the fact that this disorder is prohibitively caused by distress. As shared by North Texas Daily, zoocosis, a disorder commonly found amongst zoo animals, is the repetitive, disturbing behaviors imprisoned animals exhibit. The behaviors of zoocosis is similar to obsessive compulsive disorder or OCD, and that may include bar biting, neck twisting, excessive grooming, swaying and pacing, vomiting, and self-mutilation. You can find countless evidence of this disorder within zoos online or even seen it for yourself in person at a zoo. And at first impression of this behavior, you may not think much of it, but until you realize that there's more to this repetitive of behavior and actions, it is really a sad thing to see. And another issue that zoos partake is conducting breeding programs. And though it may seem harmless, it is a cycle of harm that is outweighing the benefit of preserving the species. And as shared by National Geographic, many zoos conduct such studies and also run the breeding programs for endangered species. Now, I do want to bring to your attention, just because an animal may be born into captivity, there's no amount of resources that can satisfy their natural needs and instincts. It is a selfish act to do. Forcing these animals into confinement for people's own benefit and amusement, it is ignorant. And to put it in retrospect, as shared by a very strong argument in vegan FTA, imagine if a kidnapper justified keeping a victim in a dungeon for life for education, conservation, or research purposes. Imagine that that kidnapper said that the victim belonged to a very uncommon demographic, such as someone from an ethnic minority or with a rare genetic makeup. And because of that, he regularly allows visitors to come to his dungeon to learn more about such races or genetic conditions, or claiming that Researchers are doing experiments on his victims for the benefit of science, or even claiming that such individuals are the last of their kind. So he's preserving them for the future generations. Seeing it from a different perspective, um, really just show how big and unethical zoos are and the way the animals are being treated when you really see it from perspective as presented by vegan FTA. Nevertheless, there's ethical ways to give support to animals in captivity in a healthy, more reliable manner. The first step is to boycott zoos and support sanctuaries and rehabilitation centers. Doris Smith explains, shelters and sanctuaries rescue animals while pet shops and zoos exploit them. That's the main key factor on the difference in quality and respect these organizations have towards their animals. And instead of leaving your money at all these zoos that exploit their animals, you can give that money to organizations that could use it towards a much more beneficial cause. Sophie Hirsch states in Animal Sanctuary's website lists where all of their animals rescue from, including zoos, circuses, amusement parks, petting zoos, and private citizens who kept exotic pets. Nonetheless, there's always other ways to help animals in need, whether by showing support or contribution. And the next time you may want to take a trip to see animals, consider the sanctuary where animals are thriving. And as stated by Spartan and McLean A, wildlife sanctuaries are safe spaces where wild animals can live. So seeing the exploitation and the disorder that these animals are suffering with each and every day, don't make them suffer anymore by blinding your attention towards them. Take time to check how these animals are being treated, and please make sure to give your support to your local sanctuaries and rehabilitation centers for all of these animals. Thank you all for your time.